I have to get ribs at TJ Ribs. How's that plug? Okay, what do we got? I'm ready. Hit me with what you got.
All right, Coach, right here, starting off. How do you build off of what the team did last week without getting too caught up in the past?
Yeah, I think what you do is begin the week with, what you need to do better, what you learned from last week, and then begin the process all over, right? But the preparation for a new opponent, and kind of build the whole week around it that way. And that's what we do, right? We turn the page on Florida and go right back to work on another SEC opponent that's nationally ranked. I think when you play a nationally ranked team, it gets your attention right away, and you don't think much about what happened the previous week because you have such a good team coming in to Tiger Stadium. So it catches your attention right away.
Hey, Brian, I got two. We're starting with Harold Perkins. What's his role going to kind of look like in this game when you're playing a spread team again?
Excuse me. So, we feel like many of you, we got to get him on the field in some fashion. But do you take B.J. Ojolari off the field, in place of Harold? So we have to be creative in finding ways to get him on the field. Clearly, do you play without a nickel on the field? We're not changing him to an inside linebacker position. The reads are too much for him at this point. So we're going to be creative. But he's clearly a guy that Coach House feels and I feel needs to be on the field. And you'll see his play in terms of, snap counts go up because, this is a team that likes to attack the perimeter. And we need to get guys on the field that can run, and he certainly can.
And then, if I understand this correctly, Matt Frakes was one of the earlier calls that you made, within the first day or so of getting the job done here. Why was it important to get him and that nutrition program up and running really fast?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think first and foremost, when we talk about, the player development piece, it was pretty clear to me that, when you have a first class nutrition center, which we had a chef, but I wanted to make sure that we had the connection with our players as well, and having a nutritionist that I got a chance to work with that connected so well with the players. Matt's a former football player. He has his doctorate in nutrition. He's a unicorn in the field in a sense. You know what I mean? And so I just felt his relatability, his knowledge, and the need for player development in that field was so big in the success that I've had that he was a must-hire.
Coach, how do you prepare for an offense like Ole Miss that changes so much week to week?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of versatility. It's very creative. But I think it starts with, if you look at it, they clearly have the ability to run the football and push the ball down the field. The quarterback, as I mentioned, is a dual threat. He can run it, he can throw it. So you have to be able. You can't take away everything, and so you have to be sound defensively. But clearly, this is going to be about how we tackle, especially on the perimeter. I think that's going to be a big part of how we, slow them down because they're obviously a very good offense.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I think you guys scored 4 touchdowns in the red zone last weekend. Do you guys feel like you're making some great progress on offense and being able to be more efficient in the red zone, and just how important that is for this weekend?
Well, I think this has to do a lot with, your ability first and foremost to recognize what you're getting down there. Are you getting man? Are you getting zone? And so a lot of that, all the really good offenses that I've had, the quarterback has been able to decipher whether it's man or zone, and he's got to get you in the right place. I mean, because down there, it's field shortens. certainly have an advantage, on offense. But defenses have to tip what they're doing. They're either going to play in some kind of bracket zone or they're going to bring pressures. And the quarterback's got to recognize that. He's got to be a quick decision maker. He's got to be accurate with the football, and he's got to get you in the right place. So I think the really good quarterbacks excel down there, and the teams that have the ability to run the football in particular are very good in the red zone.
Hey, Coach, right up here. You said earlier in a press conference this week that Ole Miss ranks number 2 in the SEC in sacks. How do you see that affecting Jaden Daniels' run game this weekend?
In terms of the run game itself, well, they're extremely aggressive. I think that, from our perspective, Jaden Daniels is a guy that is extremely elusive. If they're going to rush just 3 and drop 8, he's going to have some time, and if there's nothing open, he can certainly scramble. So, they've got to decide, do you want to bring extra rushers against him? Do you want to spy him? If you do, then there's some man-to-man coverage against, we feel like we've got some pretty good receivers. So, they've got to decide how they want to, obviously do that from a defensive structure.
Just any update you can give on Armani Goodwin, and just curious if you thought y'all had a good week of practice compared to kind of what you wanted to see going into it.
Yeah, Armani practiced well. He'll play. It's a really good story. I mean, in terms of the procedure, I think, when we're done with the season, I'd like, Bo Lowry to kind of talk about what we did. It's a pretty amazing procedure for them to do a surgical repair on a hamstring and for him to be available to play. I think our medical team did an incredible job here. But yeah, I'm excited for him. I thought, you're asking the guy that has an eye towards what I think the standards are, and we're getting there. We prepared to the point where we can win on Saturday. There's no doubt. I would like to see our guys understand that every single day matters, and they're getting there. It's a process for us, and they're starting to understand how intentional they have to be. And from the first week to this week, we are so much better in how we prepare. Good? Thank you.